Good evening. It is August 22nd, 2024, and I'd like to welcome you to the South Brunswick Board of Education meeting and call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sorry about that. I got a little stuck. Okay. All right. So now I'll read the Statement of Advance Notice. The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Act, NJSA 10-4-6, also known as the Sunshine Law, was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. The primary purpose is for board members to discuss and vote on board business. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the board secretary has caused notice of this meeting, 48 hours prior, including date and time and location to be posted in the South Brunswick Public Library and the board office, filed with the township clerk and communicated to the Home News Tribune and the Star Ledger. It is also posted on the district website. Mr. Porowski, may we have roll call?
Ms. Julie Ferrara.
Present.
Ms. Laura Hernandez.
Here.
Mrs. Deepa Karthik.
Present.
Ms. Alicia Khan.
Here.
Mr. Raja Krishna.
Yes.
Mr. Mike Mitchell.
Present.
Mr. Barry Nathanson.
Here.
Dr. Smitha Raj.
Here.
Mrs. Lisa Rogers.
Present.
We have quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Porowski. May I have approval of a meeting agenda? We're going to do the approval of the meeting agenda. May I have a motion and second to approve tonight's meeting?
A motion.
So moved by Mr. Mitchell, second by,
Ms. Hernandez.
thank you, Ms. Hernandez. Sorry about that. All in favor? Any nay? Thank you. Meeting has been approved. Moving on. Next order of business, board minutes. Board Secretary, Mr. Porowski, draft of the minutes from July 25, 2024, and executive minutes of July 25, 2024 were posted on the board portal. Are there any changes or recommendations? No, and then the minutes will stand as written and are approved. Thank you, Mr. Porowski, for that. Next order of business is the report of the president. Just a couple things. Please note to board members, back to school nights. If board members plan on being present, please notify the principals and Mr. Fetter appropriately, Superintendent Fetter. 2025 retreat date has been set for Thursday, January 16, 2025. Please mark your calendars. It will be held at Black Horse Lane as in the past. Finally, on August 29th at 1 p.m., just a note to, again, the board members, there is a webinar that's going to take place with Speaker of the Assembly, Craig Coughlin. It's being hosted by NJSBA. The topics that are going to be covered are school funding and teacher shortage. So if you have time in your day on August 29th, I highly recommend that you pop in and listen to what Assembly Leader Craig Coughlin has to say. Next is the report of the superintendent. Yes, I'm sorry. I sure enough can. Thank you for that. Okay, next is the report of the superintendent, Mr. Fetter.
All right, welcome everyone. First off, we get back in business on September 5th, Thursday. So we'll have our first day, full day of school. As you know, the staff comes back on the Tuesday. We have 2 days with the staff on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then right into it with the students on Thursday, September 5th. I have some welcomes here, but I think I shared with the board that we'd have other people here, but they are both unavailable, so I apologize for that. We're going to bring in the 2 assistant principals at the September meeting because they would like to meet you and want to give you a chance to meet with them. And so, but we do have 2 other administrators here, so don't worry. This year, Evelyn, I'm going to give you the option, Evelyn. Here, you found these 2 gentlemen who's standing around. So, would you like to introduce them?
Sure, Mr. Fetter. It's been, I have 2 candidates in front of you. We're presenting to the board. High school English supervisor, Mr. Dan Brack. High school math supervisor, Mr. Russell Pellegrini. We were quite fortunate. Surprisingly, we had quite a number of applicants, and they came out shining at the top, the South Brunswick way. So really excited at the things we're going to do together, and it's my pleasure to present them to the board.
Yeah, and so we'd love to have, we'll start with Dan, you're closest to the mic. If you'd like to just introduce yourself and say a couple quick words, right over there. First part was finding the mic. Thank you, Dan.
It's truly an honor to be here in South Brunswick. I want to thank Mr. Fetter, Dr. Maman, the interview committee, and the Board of Education for giving me this opportunity. I'm committed to this work, and I'm looking forward to starting to work with my team. So thank you.
Welcome. And Dan comes to us. But both our candidates come highly recommended from their references. And now we'll move it over to our supervisor of mathematics, Russell Pellegrini.
Yeah, I'd just like to say thank you to the South Brunswick community. I'm super excited to join this team, and I'm really excited to see what we can do with the math department and all the exciting things that they're already doing to continue them and to make it even better. Thank you.
All right. So again, Evelyn spoke about it, but we are fortunate that we get an amazing candidate pool when we post jobs like this. And unfortunately for these two, they have to go through the process of, the rigorous process of surviving all these steps that we go through. Not as many as Evelyn had to survive, I will remind her of when we put her through, but it is a process, and reference checks are done. A lot is done to determine if our final candidates are going to be the best fit for us. And these two gentlemen, I've had an opportunity to meet with them this week, and these are two strong individuals who are going to do great things for us. So welcome aboard, gentlemen. Now your job is just stay here for the next 3 hours while we finish this meeting. So just okay. So important for our community. I don't know how many people are watching today, but we recently released required pre-K-12 forms through the Genesis Parent Portal. And that means that when parents log in to see things on Genesis, they have to go through the process. Those of you that still have kids in the school, you know you're deeper. You get your done, Smitha. Work on this. Make sure those forms are signed up. Then once you get through that process, you then have access to see the bus information, schedules, placement, all of that information. So it's really important to do that. Usually the first month, we're tracking people down that do not do this. And what that tells us, unfortunately, is they're not even looking at schedules. They're not doing those things. So we really encourage families to do this and stay with their students' program. So that's all going to be coming out, and Suzanne's office makes sure that all goes through and everything's up and running. Bus assignments, we don't mail them anymore. We have not mailed them in a number of years. They will all be also on Genesis, and confirming all of that. And what Jill asked us to tell all of our families, remember to check it the night before. There are changes that happen out of our control sometimes. We work with contractors that we need to inform parents. So people should check that the night before the first day, just to make sure. And if there's any changes after that, we of course reach out and tell families bus by bus if there's anything that we need to tell them. But first, I'll be honest, the first day of school, when I was a principal, was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. You didn't know if the buses were going to come. You were hoping kindergartners got to your school, not somebody else's school. And we really have very minimal with Jill here. I mean, it is really well under control. Doesn't mean it'll be perfect, but it will be close. So a lot of work goes into this. Our drivers do what's called dry runs, where they do the routes, including our contractors. They have to do a run and do the whole route 1 or 2 times before they can start the year. That's all happening next week. And our drivers that are new to their own routes do the same. We have some drivers that are doing the same routes. Obviously, they don't need to do dry runs, but Jill knows who they are and how to manage that. Happy to tell you we are fully staffed as usual in our bus department. That goes to the quality of that transportation department, as well as we're an attractive place to be. We have great kids, great families, and so we do not have any transportation challenges at this moment, and we hope to stay that way. So knock on all the wood there is to knock on. Just a quick big thanks. If you walk around the buildings, even if you saw the wax in this building, these buildings are shiny. You know, our teams do an incredible job. So on the custodial and maintenance side, things are ready to rock. Then your secretaries are, they work 12 months, so they're here all the time getting all this done. We have all the new students, the transfers, all of it. Nurses who have to work over the summer to make sure the kids that are coming in are safe and all their programs are updated. We have child study team members that work through the summer. We have paras, we have the ESY program working some. We have Summer Institute working. We have literally about 1,000 kids a day for about 4 to 5 weeks on site in the summer. So we are almost a 12-month program here. And it really goes to all the people that work on that. The administrators are nonstop in their buildings as well. So kudos to all the people that make that possible. Okay, now some real business. On the agenda tonight is a calendar revision. We have shared this with the board. We've heard back from certain members that did respond, and we're going to go ahead and make this revision. So on the agenda tonight, I am recommending to move the Diwali observance from October 31st, which is Halloween, to November 1st. We have a letter prepared that is going to go out to the community explaining the why behind this. Basically, both days are observed in different elements of the faith. And when we did our checks last year, if you remember, we had these conversations last year. We originally did have it this way, November 1st. But what we were learning in the process was that October 31st was more appropriate. As it works out, we would literally be by ourselves as the only district, which would hinder our families who are in observance of that. And also, it's a lot cleaner on the calendar. Let's be real. I'm not going to pretend it's a cleaner calendar to have off on the Friday, which attaches to the full week off, versus that. But that isn't the reason. In other words, if Diwali was not celebrated at all on November 1st, we would not be doing this. You have to understand that. We would not be just making it easier for the calendar. That'd be like saying, well, we're not going to do Christmas on the December 25th this year because it doesn't fall right for us. We're going to move it and celebrate on a different day. Or we're going to move Yom Kippur on this day. We're going to move Eid to this day. We're just going to pick days that are convenient for the calendar. We're not doing that here. This is one of those that is, when you look it up, if you check on Google right now, you'll see it comes up both. When you check with clergy, it comes up both. There's no right or wrong answer. So we're going to go ahead and make it cleaner and support our families that might have friends or faith in other areas, not in South Brunswick, that would make more sense for them. So that's on the calendar as a revision. If that approves tonight, as I said, we will be putting out an email tomorrow to the community and informing everyone of this change. It does mean students will be in school on Halloween, which for the elementary grades, they would appreciate that. And I know teachers would appreciate not being in school the day after Halloween and being in school on the day of Halloween is cleaner for everybody. But again, only because it does work in the observance of Diwali. Any comments on that or questions? Barry?
Are we the only one that's doing this in the area?
Well, right now, we're the only one that has to because people already moved theirs. So other districts, when we first looked at it last year, they were with us. But at some point in the process, they changed and didn't tell me. So when we did another recheck, we realized that we were kind of left on our own, and that's not really the way to be on this kind of topic. So we didn't. And being that it's a cleaner issue for the calendar, we don't see that there's going to be too much concern over this. But it seems to be the right thing to do for our family. So that's where we're going to recommend going. Thanks, Barry. Okay, another. Oh, sure. Sorry.
And it doesn't have to do with the buses, but where will parents know about class assignments and teachers?
Sure. Class assignments, and Suzanne, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think class assignments start next week.
August 26th, there's homeroom and units at the middle school, and then the middle school. And
Can you get louder into the mic?
So our pre-K through 5 homeroom assignments will be published on Monday next week, and our middle school units Monday as well, and then Wednesday, I believe that's the 28th, you will see your high school student schedules and the middle school schedules that day as well.
And so one thing is important to us, and it's a move I think I might have changed when I got here, because I'm very opposed to anything coming out on a Friday afternoon at 4, when it gives parents no opportunity, and then what happens if they're unhappy with something, it's festering. Some people like the idea of it festering because then it calms. I think festering boils and makes it worse. So we do this now at the beginning of weeks or on the Wednesday, so we have multiple days for parents to respond and for people to be on site to answer questions and support kids and families.
And this is through Genesis also?
Yes, all of that's through Genesis.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Suzanne.
Okay? I have a few more things, sorry. Okay, so you know how we get the nice book for the calendar every year? We're going green. We're going green. However, you're not. You get your calendar, don't worry. We did order 200 calendars that are still going to be available to the kids that did the artwork. They get one. Schools are going to get some, and you all getting yours. We're going to try this, see how it goes. It does save. Remember, in budget season, when we were doing budget, we're doing everything we can to save money. And we want to make sure we have things in place that make sense. And the thing that makes the most sense about the calendar, a calendar is not static. So printing a calendar in today's age is not technologically smart. It is useless in many ways, that calendar, after the day it's printed. So it'll be hyperlinked to the district calendar. I know that Evelyn is currently working on that with Sheila. And Sheila does all this work with Evelyn in that office, along with a lot of other people, but kudos to Sheila. Make sure you give her thanks and buy her pastry tomorrow. All right, she likes pastry. Donuts, maybe. Amish donuts are nice. They're very good.
We'll see that in color now, too.
And they'll be in color, not in black and white. So yours will be in black and white. Sorry. But the ones online will be color and hyperlinked on the calendars. And it allows everyone to have it at their fingertips. You can walk around with a calendar on your phone, and you have access to the calendar. The website is going to be updated as well. And we think it's a good idea. Let's see what happens as we go through it. But it saves, what, $3,000 to $4,000, I think? About that? About that? So,
Scott,
Yeah.
one quick question on the calendar.
Sure.
Didn't we have a company that used to override the,
yeah. Not right now, we don't, so. Donate.
yeah,
No, we don't have anyone donating that money right now, so. But the reality is, if they want to donate us money, give us money, I'll do something else with it. Honestly, this is, I don't want to keep printing a book at this
No,
point. If you noticed, at the end of the year, we did, graduation was digital.
right.
You know, it's just the way to go. It's not a place to keep spending money if we don't have to.
We
so.
used to have some kind of bank or something that used to.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but,
No more.
let's see how it goes. If there's, we'll see, we'll get feedback. If there's any negative feedback, we'll do that. And my last bit of news, cricket. If you recall, we had a visit from about 25 students along with their coach, and that's in the real world. And we actually had we have like a world-class cricket player in our district, a kid middle schooler. That's like on a national team, I believe. We also have a national golfer actually on our team. Separate issue. I do digress. We are in the process of getting this going.
Great.
So when I mentioned it last time, we were fledgling. CJ, our athletic director, is moving. West Windsor Plainsboro reached out and offered any support because they just started last year. So we can take some of their takeaways from what worked, what didn't work. And CJ's been interfacing with their athletic directors over there to make sure we're on the right track. We also have Edison, Monroe, very small group of schools, but it will start as a club sport. We expect by fall. It is not a recognized athletic sport in the state at this moment, so it will start as a club sport. CJ is currently working on how to do that, advisors and all that. We'll work that out with our staff as well to figure out the best way to do that. We did this with robotics, started that way as well. I mean, robotics to me is a sport, at least the way our district handles it, but it's still handled by an advisor. And then we have some really, powerhouse parent volunteers and even ex-student volunteers that support that program. And then our Parna, our middle school teacher, is awesome, and she runs that program. So if you really want fun, remember I always say, go to the robotics program. It's really an amazing day when we host a giant, like 30 or 40 team event. But cricket, on the table, our expectation is this year. So we'll start slow, and then we'll let it grow as it grows. But I want to give you that feedback. I know that we're going to have a happy bunch of kids and families. But we have some work to do. It's not an easy thing to do. For example, we don't have a cricket field. But the town does. So CJ's going to work on that. And we do have space if we do decide to go that route, but that's money. And that's a different question. So as of right now, that's where we're going. And I did want to share that and keep you up to date. You guys asked for me to keep you up to date. You're up to date. And it's a good way to start the year. Some good stuff happening. So welcome back, everybody. And I'll turn it over to you, President Rogers.
Thank you. Thank you for the update. Any further questions for Superintendent Federer? We good? Okay, thank you so much for your update. Moving on, Board Committee and Liaison reports. We'll just start from my left To my right, Mr. Mitchell, any update from your committee?
We haven't met. We are looking to meet in September, if I'm not mistaken. So once we've met, I'll have a report for you.
Very good. Next,
Mrs. Hernandez.
Ms. Hernandez. Why, I'm having a problem with
Like,
her
what's
name.
up with that? Here.
I'm so sorry. It's still summer.
The Education Committee met on August 8th, and Evelyn and Suzanne gave us a bunch of stuff to ponder. And we did talk a little bit about the multilingual learners, and some of our staff went for a 3-day PD to work on how we can address those students and help them better. We also discussed AI a little bit and the direction in which our district is looking to go. Suzanne went over the NJGPA and broke it down in the 3 tiers to get our kids, our juniors to pass this test. If they don't pass it, then we do this. And, so she went over everything on how we support our kids to get them going. And we have a really high percentage, right, Suzanne, of our kids that pass this. So, for that very small percentage, we're ready to rock and roll to get them to pass this also. And then Evelyn went over a few curriculum updates for us that we will be voting on. And that same night, I had asked her to send to the full board those changes. So the whole board was well aware of the changes. So and that was on August 8th, so that we had time to read it for today's meeting to vote on it. And the end.
Very good. Thank you so much. Next, Mr. Nathanson, update.
We don't have an update similar to Mr. Mitchell in finance. We haven't met since the change in our cafeteria supplier, our food supplier. Just a note for everybody that's sitting here, there is food across the way. Please take, there's like tons of food in there. So, which is nice is the presentation, what they did just for us. It's amazing. So our next meeting is sometime in September, like finance. So.
Very good.
I will note that the food tonight was donated by Mascios so that they could give us a sample of what our students are going to experience during the school year.
And also include how the elementary kids are getting that.
Yep.
Which is so awesome that the elementary kids are getting that also.
Please extend our thanks to them.
Will do.
On behalf of the board, and the food was very good. It's great to see that. And we look forward to seeing great things from them. So thank you. Ms. Khan.
Policy committee met prior to this board meeting, and I will have an update ready at the next meeting.
Okay. Anyone else? Any comments, questions to the committee chairs on the board? Yes.
I just want to tell Ms. Mammon the pop culture elective looks very interesting. Yeah.
The second ask of students to have an elective like that really looks at pop culture so that they can be engaged in a different way. And my thanks to the teachers who put their heads together and came up with the curriculum, and the classes already, the sections were filled.
Nice.
Any other comments or questions for committee chairs or anyone on the board? Nope. Very good. We will close that section of the agenda. Okay, moving on is next public comments on the agenda item. As an agenda item, The Board of Education recognized the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on school matters of community interest. Complete copies of Policy 0167, which govern this portion of the meeting, are available to the public at the auditorium entrance, online or by contacting the board office. To permit the fair and orderly expression of comments, we ask that participants be recognized by the presiding officer and preface comments by announcing his or her name, place of residence, group affiliation. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to 3 minutes. No participant may speak more than once on the same topic. Mr. Porowski will indicate when you have 15 minutes. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. No participant may address or question board members. No discussion between a participant and respondent shall extend 3 minutes. Mr. Pulaski, anyone register for public comments on the agenda?
We have no registrations.
Is anyone in the audience would like to make comment on the agenda items? Seeing none, we will move on. Next is old business. We have no old business at this time. Next is new business, and that is a review of the 2023-2024 board goals, as well as initial review of 24-25. All board members have received a copy that I had sent out of a review of the board goals. I'm just going to highlight them for the community to hear. If anybody has any questions or comments, additions or deletions, after I go through them, well, I'd appreciate any comments. So I'm just going to highlight the main three from 20, what did I say, 23, 24? Yeah.
We did a presentation.
The board goals? Okay, oh, that's right, we did. I'm sorry. My apologies. So I'll just wrap it up real quick. We had continued to address the fiscal challenges, which there were several accomplishments, which you all received. Improved stakeholder communication, several accomplishments that were done, as well as improved committee effectiveness, which were many accomplishments, which I'm going to address one though, and then of course the ad hoc committee, which was the advocacy committee, which was a huge success. Again, thank you to Mr. Fetter and the administration for pulling that together. And just really quick, let me move on. So just some thoughts were given for the 24-25 goals. You all received a copy of them. I'm not going to have a debate tonight. I think it would be good for everyone to have a moment to absorb thoughts on paper. And please, before next meeting, we really need to wrap that up. I would like to have a vote on that next meeting for the 24-25 goals. Just very quickly, I've listed 4. Mr. Fetter and I had a conversation on one of them, which was quarterly updates and review of administration district mission, vision, and goals, which he has agreed to do a quarterly update, which is wonderful. And we could put more tactics below each goal if we feel the need to. For the budget, very high-level comments, continue to communicate strategically, transparently, and effectively to the community. Continue to support district in identifying innovative and alternative ways of funding for the district to improve the revenue stream. Continue to monitor revenue and expenses monthly, both in committee and as a full board, to ensure the financial health and student achievement. Around continued stakeholder communication, I think we got a good start on the board's corner, and I'd like to see that continue if you all are good with that. Monthly updates to the parents, very difficult, which I discovered, and Mr. Fetter coached me on this, is to really do weekly. It's very, very hard. Full-time job, family, it's really hard even to get the monthly one out. So I think we'll stick with monthly. And please, I encourage board members to send me ideas, because there are times I sit with a blank screen and I look at it and I go, okay, what am I going to talk about? And then something will come to me, but it's really helpful if you've got ideas, please shoot me an email. I always pass it by Mr. Fetter, we talk about it, and then we can get it out to the community. The second is the chain of command. Really, really important, I think, that we push and pursue the continued effort around chain of command. This must be supported by the entire board and the community. When a parent comes to us, we do not act because we are one away from the board. The only time we are board members is behind this desk. We act as a full 9-member board. So the best course of action, of course, is the chain of command, right? To send that parent, family, whomever it is, to the lowest level where there's a problem, right? So in the area of education, we would start with the teacher, right? Then if the teacher, maybe the supervisor, or whatever that chain is. Same with athletics, start with the coach, maybe before you go to Mr. Hendricks, so on and so forth. Mr. Fetter should be the last person, period.
I just want to give a, Smitha the other day did it
please.
Exactly right. So,
Hey, Smitha.
Exactly right. So a parent emails a board member. The board member rightfully would respond to the parent and give them the recommendation of where they should direct their question. The board member should not direct the question to that person, and the board member should not copy me on that communication. Instead, exactly how Smitha did it, she forwarded it to me. so that I at least know what happened. So if the parent, like, let's say, emailed Smitha and Mike and Laura and said, hey, we have issue with bus 17. Okay, well, that's going to go to the transportation department. You don't forward it to the transportation department and say, we'll take care of it. You tell the parent to direct their question to the transportation department, then send it to me. Hey, Scott, received this email, just giving you a heads up. I will then generally alert the right person that this could be coming their way so that they're prepared. That's the cleanest way. And so that's exactly how Smitha did it the other day, sent it to me, and we then were able to respond to the parent. Not saying the parent's going to be happy with the outcomes always, but it does allow us to communicate cleanly and allows you to follow that chain of command and help that parent get to the right place. Any questions on that?
And just a quick.
Thank you.
I have a question for the board. Would it be helpful if you had a specific amount of, a specific verbiage, so you could copy paste in the email? It's something that you might want to think about, and we're more than happy to pass it on as well. So think about it. No need to respond tonight, but if that would help you, absolutely, we can send it out to the entire board, which will help you feel confident in responding appropriately to the person that's asking you the question. So just let us know. And then finally, committee updates. This is one area that we do need to enhance. Very, very important that after you have a committee meeting, those minutes must be posted to the portal, so that the entire board, all the board members, can review those committee minutes and question the chair if they so see, if they need to, question Mr. Fetter, whomever, but it's really, really important. So I'm going to ask the chairs currently, please review the portal, see what minutes are missing. I know we had cut a lot of meetings out because of the budget, which of course makes sense, but it's also important to make that comment that this meeting was canceled. Okay, so we have a trail of information. So if there's a meeting that happened, minutes go up. If the meeting was canceled, just state, May 29th, a meeting canceled, okay? Yes, Ms. Karthik.
Revisit the chain of command comment that you
Sure.
had. I think it will be helpful if we have sort of a parent academy topic on this particular issue, because I think there is certain amount of confusion, and that's why parents are still reaching out directly to board members for resolution on complaints or things like that. Maybe they're not entirely aware of at what stage which complaint finally lands up at a board for for discussion or for sort of looking into, if you will. So I think a parent academy on this would be hugely helpful. It will kind of dispel some of those confusion that we have, will bring clarity to the process, and will also make the community understand what exactly is the role of the board, its scope of authority in in resolving any sort of grievances or complaints that they may have, and what is that entire redressal process that they have.
Right.
Deepa,
We did that on the board's corner.
We have, but how about if we do that again at the retreat? And we can do that, a thorough examination of that, and that's something we videotape, and then can provide that as a link to the community as well, with an explanation.
Yeah, whichever ways you want to do it. I was thinking if there's a specific parent academy on this topic, it's a...
Oh, parent academy.
Yes, a parent academy.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay,
We did have that on the board's corner.
Right.
On our website,
We
it
did.
stated
But
there.
but people don't look at it as
Right, exactly,
much.
but I'm saying that's one thing that we could direct them to also. So
And that's fine,
one
and
avenue
that's
for
something
us.
we always do,
Yeah.
But I think what happens in that case is if you have a parent academy, the parent has an opportunity to come to such an academy and ask questions of the administration. Okay, what can I do if I have this kind of a complaint? Where can I go? What can I do? And then that kind of brings some clarity to the whole process also.
Yeah, and Mary, or Mr. Nathan, I see you. I don't know if Genesis has the capability to put anything in there that states something about more information. If you have questions, go to the chain of command. Is there something that the parents can see at the start of school that helps also communicate the chain of command? So that's just, I'll put that out there for administration to think about. Mr. Nathanson?
Yeah, the only problem with the parent academy is something like this, you're not gonna get a turnout anyhow. So it's not gonna go anywhere. So that's why
but
what Mr. Fetter said is probably a better way to go.
here's one thing about when people don't show up. I'm gonna be honest. When we offer, and you choose to not attend, we've done our due diligence. then the ability to say, referencing this parent academy, that's what you get. Like, that's why sometimes those things are helpful. It gives everyone a chance
Website.
to come and be informed. And when they don't choose, it's kind of like, you know, if you don't do something, but you've been given the opportunity to learn or listen to it, and you choose not to, you've been informed. I can't make you, what do they say, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it? So if we provide something like that, if that's a common, I don't think it's that common for the district to get that many from the board. However, it could be a way to say, look, we're trying to do all of these things to share our way of operation here. And that way, if people don't, it's hard to then complain about the outcomes, right? When you don't. So it's just, I'm not saying, Barry, it's good or bad. It's something to consider. I'm actually drafting an email to my team to say, when we look at all the things we're looking at for Parent Academy, to see where this one fall. And if we can't do it that way, we can always maybe do it as a point of contact at this board meeting and do a special presentation at the meeting if we can't get a whole Parent Academy.
Because it is on the website.
And highlight it, yes, and highlight it, that we're gonna be doing it on this night.
The other thing that you might want to
I just
consider.
want to add one small comment to what Mr. Feder said, and I think he explained it very beautifully. Once you provide that information, it's already out there. It's out there for the parents. It's an opportunity for them to come and understand, the chain of command and the escalation matrix, if you will. That's number one. The second thing is, just like we had the Parent Academy for HIB, for HIB and anti-bullying, I think that was very well received by the community. We had a lot of parents who came in, who asked questions. So I think it's a way of bringing more transparency and more clarity to the process.
And another thing, and I'll just throw this to Mr. Feder as well, this might also be something that maybe the teachers can include in their back-to-school night discussions. I don't know.
No.
But no, okay, that's an no.
Let them just get there.
Let's just cross that out.
They have their world to
Okay, all
take
right.
care of.
So we have some
It's our world.
ideas.
Let
If
them-
we have other ideas, let's put it together. And there is, I think what I have to do is on the board goals, I have to open that to edit to everybody. I'll do that.
Yep.
Yeah, I requested access.
Yeah, I'll make sure that that's editable. I think, let me just write that down. Please put any ideas you have there.
Yeah.
All right, and I'll also
Just
do.
set a date for it, Lisa? Set a date.
Oh, I will,
when that has to
I
come,
will.
so
I've
we
got to
can-
look at my calendar. I'll also put it as a board comment, the board's corner again, to reemphasize to parents. Okay, good discussion, great. Any other discussions on board goals? Yes, Dr. Raj?
It suddenly reminded me that we had agreed for all the committee chairs to share the agenda with the entire board before the meeting. So that is something that maybe.
Let's add that on there.
Yeah.
Make sure we
if
clean
you-
that part up.
Yeah, let's make sure that we do that. If you don't mind, just put your thought down on that, because you have your thoughts as to how you
Okay.
want to present it. Just let me get it tonight. I'll make it editable tonight when I get home. I'll shoot an email out with a deadline and to do that, okay? Are we good with that?
Yep.
Great, thank you, excellent. All right, moving on. Thank you, that was really good. Okay. Oh, and I am going to request, I'll have the deadline to finalize the goals. All right, so that we have a discussion at the next meeting or a vote for them, okay? All right, next order of business is the consent agenda by Mr. Pawlowski. Mr. Pawlowski, you're on.
All right, everybody. Pretty typical summer, it's a summer agenda, not a Sunday agenda. Typical summer agenda. We have approval transfers, some financials, business office, particulars, Champion Schools grant, accepting funds. We have chapter 192. We have approval of technology orders for our non-publics. We're approving non-public nursing services. We have a withdrawal from maintenance reserve to do some projects around the district that are just been neglected over the years. Some paving and some work at some of the elementary schools. We have contracts over the bid limit. We're approving contracts that went over the bid limit, even if we used the state contract, just so our auditors can say that you guys knew about them. You'll see the totals. We do have one in here for $243,000 for some paving that needs to be done. Again, that's at the elementary schools. We went out for bid for a lot of our transportation. This is a heavy transportation bid. Consent agenda, you can see all of the bids that were received. We can see the lowest one that we chose. You're going to see some of the best bids that we had for out-of-district runs. We had one for, it looked like almost 210 or $208 a day.
Thank you.
Which is unheard of. Those out-of-district placement runs were usually running around $500-600 a day. So some really good prices and some really good bid work by our transportation department. We have educational consulting services. We have some preschool curriculum, staff professional development services. We also are approving our transportation contracts for parental transport when we have parents drive their students back and forth to school. We have a jointure with another school district. We're approving our local mentor program, district local mentor program, development plan, professional development plan. We have an assurance for our professional development plan and a code of conduct. We're approving the adoption of our curriculum this evening. We have,
Well, just point of
Go ahead.
order. We're only approving changes to the curriculum, not the whole curriculum.
all right. We're approving our interlocal agreement, revised school calendar, some sidebar agreements, related expense reimbursement, student field trips, harassment and bullying. We also have some student tuition contracts. That's a big agenda. And our out-of-district tuition adjustments and some professional services with Rutgers Medical School and Frontline Technologies. And then you have your personnel. And that, everybody, is your consent agenda. So,
Sir, any questions? Yes, Ms. Farrar.
Yeah, it says that we are approving the curriculum on agenda item 1.27. So is it just revised?
Just said it.
It's not,
Yes,
it's not
it's
written
just-
as
It was just
revised.
commented that, yes, it's just some revisions.
Okay,
It's the revisions that were sent to you by Emily.
Yeah, I read those,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
that's what it is.
okay. Just wondered.
Mr. Krishna?
David, just
Sorry.
a clarification. Could you just explain what is the note under point 1.21?
What was the number, hon?
1.21, when it says that the route will be a bid for November 1st, starting the remainder of the year?
so this route will be bid for a November 1 start for the, so this student, yeah, so for this particular bid, the student wasn't going out until November 1. So they weren't going to be educated or transported in September. That's what that looks
That would
like.
be an IEP-driven, Raja. That would be, the IEP calls for that program to begin on November 1.
So it doesn't begin with the...
Right, so depending on what the reason, which I couldn't get into right now, the IEP drives that decision. The transportation then follows suit with the IEP's language.
Got it.
So in this particular case, the IEP is directing that placement, if that's what it is, would start at that point, if
For
that's what
all
that
three of them, it's the same situation.
Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's a quote, so, yeah, I'd have to look a little bit more into that. But basically what this is that this route's not starting, this route's not starting till November 1.
Got it.
It looks like it's already being contracted with Routes Transportation for September 1 through October 31 for 40 days
Oh,
total.
so it's
And
a
then
change.
It's a change. So it's a bid for somebody. We have examples where kids need transportation immediately, so we contract with Routes Transportation to do September 1 to October 30, and then we put it out to bid and say,
Could have been an
okay, so
emergency.
bid's going to be from November 1 for the remainder of the year.
Okay.
I believe that's what that's.
Just whatever they are, all the routes are aligned with IEPs. So if there's ever a change in that, our responsibility is to provide the transportation as directed by the individualized education plan.
Yeah.
Okay, and,
You can see in the actual motion that the contract with Routes Transportation, EMS East Mountain School, September 1 through October 30 for 40 days total.
Yeah.
That rate's $234 for a contract total price of $9,360. This route will be bid for November 1 start through the remainder of the year.
They might only be doing the route for 40 days and told us they couldn't do it after. That's a possibility too.
okay, also 1.22, could you show some light on the mentor plan, local mentor plan, what exactly it is?
Go ahead. the local mentor plan.
1.22.
That's just our local mentor plan where we have the teachers mentor.
Oh,
students,
so
new
what
teachers.
does it say?
Just approving. it.
There's two of them.
Yeah, so every year, Raja, teachers that are not certified, they have what's called a provisional certification statewide. When they get hired with a provisional cert, we are required to mentor them. And there's a whole plan we have to submit to the state on what our plan is to mentor the teachers in their first year. And then they get, the provisional cert becomes a standard cert. So that's for anybody who is employed under a provisional certification, has to go through a mentor plan. We need to provide the state with our mentor plan.
Understood.
You're approving that mentor plan. It's in the mentor plan is in the backup.
Thank you.
Yep.
On 1.37 for out-of-district placements, it looks like we're spending quite a bit. I wondered, is there any discussion of how to lower the cost of our out-of-district placements?
That's a whole conversation for another day.
Hold on.
I think we're looking to
Dave,
how we're
excuse me.
going
Dave?
1.2.
We didn't hear the question.
We had a question on 137 on how we're going to control our out-of-district placement costs.
Okay.
What specifically is the question?
I just wondered, does the district shop around for a lower cost for placement? I was looking specifically at the Celebrate the Children placement, and possibly the Cranford Public School placement. They just seem a lot greater than what we spend per student here in the district. I just wondered, like,
Yeah, out-of-district placements are significantly more expensive than in-district placements, correct? They are driven by an IEP, which is an individualized education plan, which is developed by a team of staff as well as the parent, and if there are any other specialists involved in that process. So when a determination is made, they make a determination about providing FAPE, which is called the Free and Appropriate Public Education. And if it is determined to go to one of those schools, it has been determined that that is where FAPE would be met.
so are these private placements?
Some of the private and some are other public placements.
Okay.
Any other questions? I just have one, and I apologize, I meant to call you on this today, the day got away from me. Under athletic supplies, just a question, it shows here the number of items that was recorded, and then what was awarded is a lot less. And is this for the entire year, or is this just for fall and winter sports? It was
What's your-
BA, hold on, 1.11 C, I believe. Yeah. So I just was wondering, we requested almost, was it close to 250 number of items? And we received about 200 items, a little
Well,
over.
not all of the vendors bid on all of the items. So BSN Sports bid on 197 items, and they won
107,
107 of those.
okay.
MFAC LLC bid on 25, and they won 3.
Right.
Sportsman's Johnson, PA bid on 201,
Right.
and they won 109.
Right,
So we take the lowest bid of the item.
right. But the items, they're not equal, and I'm just wondering.
No, because
are we
they're not going to
missing-
bid, no, because all of the vendors aren't going to bid on all of the items that we put in. They're only going to
Okay.
bid on the items that they can bid the lowest on, or that they
Okay, so
that
what
they
happens-
carry.
Got it, I completely understood.
Mm-hmm.
What happens with the items that we wanted to have bid on? I mean, what,
Well,
are we
eventually,
short with
they bid on
items?
all of them. They did bid on all of them.
3, it's 397,
Your largest bid was 201,
right,
right?
but you have one that's 197, 201, 25, and 38, unless I added.
Is your question,
Did I
what
add wrong?
happens?
What
Do we
happens to
eventually
those
get what
that
we
we
need?
don't have the number of
We
items?
purchased them off state contract.
Off state contract, okay, that's where I was going. I just wanted to
That's what I was trying
understand
to
where
get
the
them through quote.
remainder
Yep,
are
we
being
can get them
pulled
through
from.
quote.
Thank you. Any other questions? Nope? All right, yes?
Questions regarding, I think there are some projects that we are doing for flooring and for asphalt. If you can just elaborate a little bit on that, what exactly are those projects about?
We have potholes and roads and parking lots that have holes in them. So the asphalt's going to replace and repair damaged roads from snow, ice, salt. The carpet we have a couple of rooms at the high school that are going to receive new carpeting. And we have some other items going on at the elementary schools that are going to be repairs as well. We have a roof project going on at Cambridge, but that's already been approved. And we have concrete going on at some concrete repairs, sidewalks, curbs, things that have just been damaged over the years.
And these are for various schools in our district, right?
Excuse me?
They're all for various schools in our district, right?
Yeah,
Different-
absolutely. We would
okay.
only do schools in our district.
I lost a page. Anything else? No? Very good. All right, if we have no further questions, may I have a motion and second? Mr. Nathanson, second? Ms. Hernandez for a motion and consent agenda, and second for the consent agenda. May I have roll call?
Ms. Julie Ferrara,
Accept.
Ms. Laura Hernandez,
Yes.
Mrs. Deepa Karthik, Ms. Alicia Khan,
Yes.
Mr. Raja Krishna,
Yes.
Mr. Mike Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Barry Nathanson,
Yes.
Dr. Smita Raj, Mrs. Lisa Rogers.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, moving on. Next item agenda is second opportunity for public comments on any topic. This is the second opportunity for the public to comment on any matter. You are reminded of the previous statement made regarding public comment rules of policy 0167. Again, at the podium, state your name, spell your name, announce your place of residence, any group affiliation. You are limited to 3 minutes. Mr. Pawlowski, do we have any members of the public who are pre-registered?
Nope, no pre-registration.
Is there anybody in the public audience, is there any member of the public in the audience that would like to have a comment made on any item? No? We will close this portion of the agenda. Okay, please note, our next scheduled Board of Ed meeting is set for Thursday, August 22nd, that's today. I forgot to change it. It's in September. On behalf of the South Brunswick Board of Ed, enjoy the remaining days of summer. Good luck this year to all of our staff. We will see you on the first day of school. May I have a motion, and, excuse me, may I have a motion to adjourn? Ms. Ferrara, motion, second, Ms. Khan, all in favor? Aye. Any nays? Thank you, and good night, South Brunswick.